Welcome back, guys. I'm tieronecollections. Today in this video, we're going to do a little overview of the $5,000 I spent on eBay to grade these Pokemon cards, and we'll take a look in depth and why I made the decisions that I made.
I'm the MVP. Now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant. Need a triple-double. Told him check the stat.
Alright, so you see here, this is the first one. All these tabs are different cards. I spent around $5,000 after tax and everything on these cards. So that's not including the grading fees. One of them I did send direct, and we'll talk about that a little later. But I'm just going to go over exactly what I'm looking for on these online listings, some things that stick out to me, and why I actually ended up purchasing these cards. So for first one up, we have a tag team here. First things first, I went over the centering many times, and if you're looking, again, the black line doesn't matter on these. It is slightly off-center. It's a little bit thicker on the left side than it is on the right. But again, ignore the black line. So pretty much the first thing I do is I double check the front centering based on the card, and then I just make sure that there's no whitening on the back here. So on cards like this that are not super expensive, it's generally pretty easy. It's much easier to find clean copies on eBay than it is on those top tier cards. So I tend to look for stuff like this, you know, the $75 to $150 range. You'll find it a lot easier. But again, late Sun and Moon, early Sword and Shield, late Sun and Moon into Sword and Shield, the quality's pretty good. So I was pretty comfortable buying this. Just a disclaimer, I've already received all these cards already, and every single one's at PSA minus one of those, and I'll explain why that one is not in a little bit. So moving on to the next one after the Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor. Alright, here's another Tag Team Era card. I love this Vileplume. This one was interesting, and I ended up sending this anyways. I sent this Value Plus. Now, the centering is a little iffy here. The bottom border is thick. I sent this kind of as a data point. It's very close. But left to right is fine. It's just a little bit thicker at the bottom. When I saw it in person, it wasn't as bad as I originally thought. Very clean copy. Again, hard to come by Tag Team Era stuff. But you can see the back here is very clean. There's really not much here at all. And when I inspected this card before I sent it, I figured it was worth it. It's basically 45-55 top to bottom from when I had it in person. But you never know. Sometimes you got to take chances on that stuff. Again, it's not a card that you find all that often, but I absolutely love this card, so I sent it anyways. So, real quick, interrupting the video, make sure to join the Discord down below. If you want to sell your Pokemon PSA slabs for 85% bulk, doesn't matter what the card is, you can go down below, and YouTube members get exclusive upped percentages. It's great. All the people that have done it so far, I absolutely love it. They're sending slabs weekly now. Also, if you just want to join and you need some help with, you know, grading cards to sell, anything Pokemon related, join the Discord down below. It is free. And then if you become a YouTube member, you get access to a super secret channel. It's really cool. Everyone loves it. There's so many hot females there. More tag teams. And spoiler alert, there's like 3 more here in this video. We got a Pheromosa and Buzzwole. I've just been kind of picking these up when I find them for a good price. This was a very clean copy. Honestly, really nothing wrong with this card. I was worried about some of these like edge wear dings, but the problem was people just don't. I mean, you can see the quality on this picture is just not great. So sometimes you have to take a chance when it goes to buying cards online. But you do have to look at your do your due diligence when you're looking at the cards. You know, there's sometimes that there's edge wear and stuff that you don't see in the pictures. But this specific card was perfectly fine. I thought this is a very common error in tag teams where there's like almost, it looks like paint chipping, but it's actually just fading of the color. And I think it's by design in a lot of cases. This doesn't count against your grade. But you can see here the back is immaculate. So again, the easiest way is to just double spot check the centering, spot check the back, because those are the most common errors, and then go in, you know, and zoom in on some of these cards. So that's what I did here, and I was pretty happy with this purchase, actually. It was very clean in person as well. Alright, so here we have the Mewtwo and Mew. I told you there were some more tag teams. This one's weird. I ended up hitting up the seller. This was on bid, and it had, like, put it for, like, 24 hours, so it's going to take forever to go through. I just hit up the seller and was like, hey, would you take, I forget exactly what the number was. Maybe it was $485 total, and then I think there was tax on top of that and everything. But this was just a very clean copy. I need a card in my PC, so I need this card in my PC. I don't know what I'm saying. First of all, I mean, the centering is just perfect. This is a perfect example of the black line not mattering again. If you still don't understand that, the only thing I was worried about with this one is this tiny white dot. So when I got it and I looked at it before I sent it, it was almost like paint, not like an actual ding or a cut into the card. So I sent it anyways. I've seen stuff with more egregious dots and damage than that get 10s. So I figured I'd send it. So we'll see what that one gets. All right, I promise this is the last tag team. I paid a little bit of a premium for this one, just because I just sold my 9 and I wanted another mint copy. Again, really the only thing wrong with this card was the centering. The back is very, very clean. It's just a little bit thicker on the right side than it is on the left. Everything else about it, again, in person and on eBay here, I sent it, and there's really nothing wrong. I did have to dust this card off a little bit with microfiber. I was worried. Sometimes when you get this type of reflection on the card, when somebody takes a picture of it and lists it on eBay, sometimes you'll see like little dents inside the card. That happens, so you definitely have to be wary. This specific one, I just sent it. I just went on the, and bought it. But, if you're at all worried, just message the seller and ask the question. Most of them are not going to care. But it's good to get it out there, specifically when you're spending $200+ on a card like that. So, Marshadow Machamp, this is just such a banger card, man. All right, we are done with tag teams. There's a couple more GXs in there, but so this is a great example that I'd like to highlight a little bit. Sometimes you can buy stuff from people that don't always have the best feedback, or the picture is a little bit ambiguous. When you get good at this stuff, you start to realize that it's not as hard as you think, and a lot of people will. This again. As of right now, this card is like under $300, so it looks like I paid a massive premium for it. Yeah, I kind of did. I haven't been able to find this card locally, so I went and bought this. This is about 3 weeks ago now. So I bought it when it was high, and then it dropped to $100. I mean, we all know the whole market went down, but I know, and most people know, if you take a look at pretty much any Mega Evolution SIR, the backs are good. There's not really any issues with the backs. So I honestly wrote it off. And I said, screw it, I'm going to send it on this card. I want it for the PC. And all I did was worry about the centering. And because this picture is, for lack of a better word, dog shit, I got this for a good deal at the time, for a clean copy. At the time when I bought this, you could barely buy the card for $400, let alone a clean copy. And then it was slightly off left to right. In the picture, it looks thicker over here. But upon getting this card in, it is absolutely perfect. I would be absolutely astonished if this doesn't get a 10. So I think this was a really good buy. Despite the fact that it's went down in price over time, I don't care. I love the card. It's goated. And I don't regret the purchase. One other thing, too, is not everyone has perfect feedback. Some of these people, I personally don't worry about it too much. Even when you buy from a 0% feedback seller. I actually have a perfect example here coming up. It'll be the last one that we go over. But sometimes it's worth the risk. You know what I mean? Bad feedback sellers are more often to help you out as well and negotiate as well, so you give them good feedback. So keep that, write that down, keep that in mind when you're buying stuff on eBay. All right, here's an example. So this guy actually has 4 feedback now, but when I bought from him, he had 0. I actually bought 2 of these, and we'll go over both of them in the same little snippet. This one was on bid. I hit this guy up trying to get him to end it at, I think I offered him $650, funny enough. But this is just a perfect example of people not knowing the way that the centering works on these. The centering looks off here, but it's not. It's just because of the black line. It looks thicker down here. And again, I saw this in person, and I'm confirming that it's good. And I have many examples that I've shown on this channel before that the black line does not matter. It's the silver behind it. So when I saw this up for auction, I was like, I got a bid on it. This thing is super, super clean. Honestly, people with good backgrounds like this, when they take a picture of the card, it makes it really, really easy to see any whitening, as opposed to another white background. But here is the other one. This one I bought on Buy Now. It was a little overpriced. I mean, they were pretty much selling for like $550 at the time. Again, very, very clean. It's very similar. Bottom or black line is pushed up into the picture, but the border on the top, it looks a little crooked, but it is the camera angle on the listing, as opposed to, like, again, I've seen both of these, and they checked out as well. But this guy, when you get a lot of pictures here, it makes it a lot easier as well, to check all the corners. So again, a clean back, PSA is very, very forgiving on the centering on these. I can't stress that enough. There's a reason why I buy these online all the time. So, all right, moving on to the next one. All right, here's an example of a card that I sent directly to PSA. Now, disclaimer, it is super quick. I already have the grade back, and I bought this on October 23rd, and I got the grade back on November 6th, or 5th, I think. So it was super, super quick. Again, it was Probstein. Obviously, Probstein's not going to be on eBay for much longer. I think it went into effect starting in November, actually, which is funny. But super, super clean card. I won't reveal the grade just yet, but, I mean, you're looking here. I mean, it's Probstein again, so you know that Probstein themselves are not picking through their listings. You know that the sellers don't necessarily have the avenue to sell stuff, so always keep an eye on consignment auction places on eBay. Typically, they'll go for a higher price, but usually, if you think it's clean, it's probably clean. So this was a really good example. At the time, this is a slight premium, I would say, but for a clean copy, it actually went lower than I expected. I max bid $725, so I was happy to get it for $650 as well. And again, I already got the grade back. So here's an example of a problem listing. Okay, so this place has 100% feedback. I'm not familiar with them, but I've never bought from them before. But what ended up happening, and I don't know if this was a mistake. I'm not here to call anybody out, but I took the risk on the centering here because I think it was fine. And I think that's why a lot of people... I have stuff with worse centering here on the bottom. And again, I have VMAX 10s new certs that have worse centering than this. And the back was super, super clean, as you can see here. I ended up getting a card that was, I think, it's a different copy. Because the centering is off on the back. I mean, you can see this is pretty much perfect centering on the back here. And there's actually like a bow to the card, if you can see. The copy that I received had whitening in the top two corners and the bottom right corner, and the centering was pushed to the left. I posted on my Instagram story a bunch trying to sell it raw. What ended up happening was I filed a claim, and I ended up getting a partial refund from eBay just to basically take it down to LP condition because that's what I probably would consider it because the ding in the top left was not the best. And I reached out to them, and, it got solved, so it's not an issue. Again, eBay took care of me as the buyer, which they pretty much always do. But that was an example. I mean, this card, to me, in this listing is perfectly gradable, and the card that I received wasn't. So that one didn't end up going to PSA. I ended up selling it raw. So, all right, the last one is this Umbreon. Again, this guy had 0% feedback when I bought this from him. I caught it right as it was listed. Now, it is almost perfect. It is slightly off center left to right. It's a little bit thicker on the right. I ended up taking a chance on it. I didn't send this one directly because I was worried about the 0 feedback seller. Again, now he has 10 feedback, whatever. But it is honestly probably one of the best pickups I've bought on eBay. And I paid a little bit of a premium for it. But I'm very, very confident that it's going to get a 10. I expressed that, and I should get the grade back soon. Again, if you see here on the back, there's no corner issues or anything that Prismatic usually has. And then, again, I was just worried about the centering because of the angle of this picture. And when I reached out to the seller, he said somebody had already put in an offer. So I ended up just buying it. I said, screw it. I'm going to take the risk and go for it. And I'm really, really glad I did at this point. Hopefully PSA sees it the same way that I do. But, again, you never know. And I think this was a good pickup. So thank you guys for watching. Like the video and drop a comment down below. If you think I missed anything in the listing video, if you don't think I'm going to get a 10, let me know. We'll see if you're right. We'll see. Subscribe, and when the grading video does come live, when all these cards come back from PSA, I will be posting that as soon as possible. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
I'm the MVP. Now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant. Need a triple double. Told him check the stats.